Why China doesn't need to invade Taiwan. There is a mistake people keep making about Taiwan. They think this story starts with warships, with missiles, with soldiers landing on beaches. But systems this big rarely break all at once. They weaken slowly, through weak spots, through pressure, through problems that pile up over time. And Taiwan's biggest weakness is not sitting on a beach waiting for an invasion. It is already built into the way the island works. The 11-day clock. Taiwan runs on imported energy. 98% comes by sea. Oil, natural gas, coal. Almost everything that powers the island arrives on ships first. Now here is the number investors and energy markets watch closely. Taiwan keeps about 11 days of backup liquid natural gas supply. Think of it like the fuel gauge in a car, not empty, but not comfortable either, because Taiwan's chip factories need huge amounts of stable electricity. And these chips matter. They are the brains inside smartphones, computers, cars, and data centers. The factories that make them cannot suddenly lose power. Clean rooms must stay perfectly controlled. Cooling systems must run non-stop. And Taiwan's power grid already works close to its limit. That means every fuel shipment matters. Every tanker helps keep confidence alive. So the danger is not instant collapse. The danger is uncertainty. How stress spreads. A 3-day shipping delay can change how markets react. Fuel prices rise. Shipping costs rise. Power companies start making backup plans. Factories slow production to be safe. Investors begin looking for exits. That is how stress spreads through connected systems. Quietly, before any major crisis even begins. And none of this requires missiles. Only unstable energy flows. The shield that started moving. For years, Taiwan had a special kind of protection. The world depended on its advanced computer chips. That dependence became a shield. Too much of the global economy relied on Taiwan staying stable. But depending on one place creates fear. And fear makes countries spread risk around. TSMC has now committed $165 billion in Arizona, 6,000 miles away from Taipei. That alone is a major shift. But the bigger change is happening around the factories. The whole system is starting to move too. Packaging, testing, assembly. The extra steps that turn tiny chips into products people can actually use. Apple partnered with Amkor to expand advanced chip packaging in Arizona near TSMC's new factories. And that matters. Network effect. Because the chip business is not just about one building making chips. It is about entire networks growing around those buildings. Workers, suppliers, power systems, shipping routes, specialized engineers. For years, the world accepted the risk of keeping most of that system inside Taiwan because there was no other choice. Now, countries want backups. More factories in more places, more safety, more control. And slowly, Taiwan becomes less impossible to replace. Every factory built outside the island weakens Taiwan's advantage a little more. The silicon shield is not staying in one place anymore. It is growing roots elsewhere. Pressure without a blockade. Export economies depend on timing. Ships arriving on schedule, stable prices, reliable delivery times. Taiwan depends heavily on sea trade to keep that system working. And this is where pressure becomes more powerful than direct attacks. Because modern shipping systems are extremely sensitive to uncertainty. Insurance companies track political risk constantly. Ports track delays by the hour. Factories plan production around exact delivery dates. A full naval blockade would start a global crisis immediately. But smaller disruptions work differently. Longer inspections, slower shipping approvals, cyber attacks on shipping systems. Small delays, small problems. Nothing dramatic enough to start a war, but enough to create stress. One delayed container can disrupt an entire factory schedule. One delayed gas shipment can complicate energy planning for the whole island. And pressure builds quietly. Higher insurance costs, longer shipping times, unstable delivery schedules. That is the power of economic pressure at sea. It wears systems down slowly. An export economy weakens bit by bit first. Then, very quickly, the pull of scale. Money follows size, and size matters. Taiwan faces growing pressure at home. Housing prices keep rising faster than wages. Young workers feel trapped most of all. Even high-paying jobs no longer guarantee owning a home. Now, compare that with the mainland economy next door. China's latest economic plans aim to pull Taiwanese businesses and workers closer into the mainland economy. Beijing promotes special business zones designed to attract engineers, factories, and investment, because factories need customers, and the mainland has a massive market nearby. Businesses need lower costs. Workers need stable pay. Pressure creates movement. And money usually moves faster than politics. That is the part many people miss. Beijing does not necessarily need everyone in Taiwan to agree politically. It only needs stronger business ties, stable trade, long-term economic dependence. Over time, money behaves like water. It flows where resistance is weakest. How systems actually collapse. Most people focus on military scenarios. But the deeper story is about systems, how they stay alive, how they move, how they fail. Energy keeps economies alive. Trade keeps them running. Supply chains, the giant networks that move goods around the world, slowly reshape politics and power. Military force can stop an invasion, but economic pressure works every single day. That difference matters. Taiwan survives through imported fuel, through shipping routes, through chip exports tied to global demand. Every major part of the island's economy depends on outside systems staying stable. And that creates weaknesses that can be pressured slowly instead of attacked directly. Factories move overseas. Shipping risks grow. Energy uncertainty spreads through markets. Housing pressure changes how workers live and plan their future. None of this requires open war. Only patience. Only infrastructure. Only steady pressure across connected systems. Missiles can delay change. Supply chains can reshape the future. And that is the part most people miss. The island is not only being surrounded militarily, it is also being pulled into a larger economic system, piece by piece. Shipment by shipment. Gigawatt by gigawatt. Because in systems this connected, gravity usually wins.